saw a Skinwalker in my hallway, and now it's in my room, living for me. You know that feeling when you're so close to a goal that nothing else exists? I was at 98% in champion rank, grinding for Unreal in Fortnite. 2:45 a.m. on a school night. My room was a mess of empty energy drink cans and the blue glow of my monitors. My headset clamped tight. The sounds of distant build fights and the chirp of a tactical AR are the only things in my universe. I finally hit it. The Unreal rank popped up on screen. That purple icon I've been chasing forever, glowing like a trophy. I let out a breath I felt like I'd been holding for 3 hours. But as soon as the adrenaline dipped, the thirst hit me. My throat felt like I'd swallowed sandpaper. I drank my last energy drink hours ago. I pushed back my chair, the wheels squeaking against hardwood. Usually the house has this comforting hum. A fridge, the PC. But tonight the power had been flickering during my last match. Thank goodness my uninterrupted power supply was still attached to my computer. Everything else was dead quiet. I grabbed my phone, flicked on the flashlight, and stepped out into the upstairs hallway. My house is one of those modern, open-concept builds. Our room opens into a lofted space that looks down over the front countryway. To get to the kitchen, I have to walk past the long hallway that leads to my parents' master suite, and then down the stairs into the kitchen. I swung my phone light toward the stairs, but the being caught something at the end of the hallway instead. I stopped. My heart didn't just skip a beat, it felt like it stopped entirely. Standing right outside my parents' door was a figure. It was black. Not clothed in black, but made of a substance that seemed to absorb the light from my phone. Impossibly thin, like it had been stretched on a rack. Its grotesque arms are the worst part. It hung down past its knees, ending in long, twitching fingers that moved inhumanely and looked like gnarled branches. It had to be said and maybe 8 feet tall, hunched over just to keep its head from scraping the ceiling. It didn't have a face, just a smooth, matte surface where features should be. You stood there in the dark for what felt like an hour. Then it twitched, a sharp mechanical movement. It dropped to all fours and skittered down the stairs with a sound like dry bones hitting the floor, and it vanished into the kitchen. I bolted back into my room, locked the door, and shoved my gaming chair against the handle. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my door. My phone had no bars. The Wi-Fi was out. It was totally cut off. Then the floorboards outside creaked. "Tyler, you okay, honey?" This was my mom's voice, the exact same tone she uses when she's worried I'm staying up late. I almost felt a wave of relief. I almost stood up. But then she said it again. "Tyler, you okay, honey?" It wasn't just the words, it was the breath before the sentence, the slight sound at the end of honey, an exact digital perfect replica of the first time. It said it every 60 seconds, like a programmed NPC. I stayed awake until the sun bled through my blinds, watching the door handle vibrate every time that voice spoke. When the sun finally came up, the voice stopped. I waited until I heard actual sounds of breakfast downstairs, clinking silverware, the smell of coffee. I went down looking like a ghost. My parents were sitting at the kitchen island. "Rough med on the grind, Ty. You look like you haven't slept in a week." "Dad, there was something in the hall last night." I told them everything. The tall figure, the long arms, the voice, Honey, you've been pushing yourself too hard for that game. Stress and sleep deprivation do weird things to the brain. You probably had a waking dream. It wasn't a dream. I pointed to the kitchen floor where I saw it run. It came in here. We were in bed all night, Ty. The house was locked. You're fine. Just get through school and take a nap. No more Fortnite for a few days, all right? Tonight, I didn't even turn the PC on. I sat in the dark, watching my bedroom door. At 1 a.m., the power flickered. The Wi-Fi died. I pulled up my phone. I'd set up a cheap home security camera with Bluetooth in the living room earlier that day. I'd also added battery backup. I opened my app. The light visual was grainy and green. The living room was empty. Then a single figure walked into the frame. It was my dad. At least, it was wearing his clothes. But he stopped right in the center of the room. He didn't move for 3 minutes. He just stared at the camera. And his body began to change. His neck elongated, stretching out until his head was tilted at an impossible 90-degree angle. His arms didn't just grow and folded from his torso like hidden limbs, turning oily matte black. His face stayed looking like my dad's face for a moment, but his jaw began to sag, stretching lower and lower until his mouth was a dark, gaping hole. He didn't use the stairs. He turned toward the wall and started to climb. He moved like an insect, sticking to the drywall, heading straight for the ceiling above my door. I watched the screen as it reached the attic hatch in the hallway. Didn't need to open it. It seemed to melt through the cracks. Scratching outside my door stopped. It was replaced by a heavy, wet thud directly above my head. The attic hatch inside my closet creaked open an inch. Then a whisper came from the darkness of the ceiling. My dad's voice. Deep, calm, terrifyingly casual. The exact same recording from this morning. Rough med on the grind, Ty. I'm hiding under my bed right now, hoping it doesn't find me. I don't know what to do.